All right, everyone. Nice having you here. In today's video, we're going to be looking at how to create this particular beautiful dashboard right on your screen. So before we actually talk about this dashboard, let us look at the files that you're going to download. Inside the download file, you're going to see this particular PDF that talks about what you need to do to actually create a dashboard. So this is actually the request that is being sent to you to create a dashboard. So you have to read through this. So after you might have read through it, if you're creating this for a client, you can actually ask the client to actually create something like this for you. We call this a sketch. You can do it on rough paper, on a particular program. So what I've done here is using quick notes to actually get this done. So I have actually sketched how my dashboard would look like. I have to follow this to create my dashboard. So here comes the data you're going to download, and the final result will look like this. Let us look at what this particular dashboard is all about. So this dashboard is about sales and marketing call center. So over here we have choose a call agent. So if I decide to go ahead and choose a call agent right now, what happens is that my dashboard gets some kind of filtered. Can you see that? So over here I get a highlight. If you look at this particular part right now, I get a highlight of the person that is being selected from here, and it gets all the whole dashboard some kind of filtered, right? So what about if I select somebody like Drew here? Now, if you look at it right now, we have gotten this highlighted. And one of the beautiful thing about this dashboard is that what we have right here right now is all about this particular, person we have selected from here, or an agent we selected from here. So this is the success, successful calls, like the call that was successful. Out of 28,000 calls he received, 20.2% of the call were successful. So we have the rating, we have the average call duration, and over here is actually what was discussed during the calls, and we can see the success rate right here: travel, loan, internet package, insurance, and electricity. So we have the failure part of it. So we can decide to go ahead and change it to a different person, Olivia here, and you can see what is going on right here. So one of the beautiful things is this: we can actually filter to a particular month. Let's say the month of May, and this gets to change. Can you see what happens here? This is it. So once you're done using the filter, you can hide it. And this particular month here is peculiar to this particular person selected from this right here. So when I choose to go with this now, it has changed and it's highlighting the max month and the min month that he received calls. Right? So over here talks about the calls that we abandoned, the reason. So maybe technical issue, long wait time, customer hang up, whatever it is. So over here is a place where we can click on, and we have this switch to a map, and we can bring it back to a chart. So what about this? Right? So we can filter using the time of calls right here. Depends on what you really want. So once you're done and you don't want to actually use the filter again, we have over here what we call unfilter. So once you click on it, it's going to unfilter your dashboard for you. So now we have just unfiltered this particular dashboard. If I come over here right now, there is no selection. And over here, there is no selection. This is exactly what it is that we're going to be building today. And if you're ready to follow me, so let's get into the class. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to your friends and family for them to be aware of this particular channel. So see you in the class. The first step we need to take to create the dashboard is to open the data we're going to be using. So over here, this is the data we're going to be using for the dashboard. So the next thing is for you to look at the dashboard requirements. So if you open up the PDF you downloaded, you're going to see this particular, our dashboard request right here. So all you have to do is to make sure you read through this particular part to understand what exactly you're about to get into. After you might have done that, the next thing you have to do is to actually create a sketch on how you want your dashboard to look like. And how will you do this? You have to read through the PDF to understand what insights you need to draw from the data, and now sketch how you want to show it on your dashboard. Okay, if you look at over here now, we are going to have a top header here that shows the title of the dashboard, a drop down for the agents, and as well we're going to have a slicer here. And over here is going to be, some couple of KPIs we need to show on our dashboard. So next again is going to be this particular part right here, where we show a chart that shows the total calls by agents, and beneath it is going to be another chart that shows the top 5 agents and orders. So over here is going to be another chart that shows the call success rate and orders based on whatever agent is being selected from the drop down right here. So here is going to be the average rating and average call duration, and over here is going to be what is being discussed. It could be travel package, loan, whatsoever. So we want to see the success rate and how many of the call got failed. Okay. So right here, we have call abandoned. We want to see the reason why calls were abandoned. Was it because of technical issues, agent not available, long wait time, or customer hang up whatsoever? And right here is going to be a trend line that shows the call by whatever agent that is being selected from here on a monthly basis. Okay. Finally, over here is going to be a very nice chart where we can show a chart and as well a map at the same time by providing a particular button right here, whereby if the user clicks on it, it can show chart, it can show map showing the same state, right? And beneath it, we're going to have, here some kind of top 5 cities or top 5 states and the percentage versus orders, just to make sure we look at where we have more calls coming from. This is exactly what we're going to do. So we have to look at how we can achieve this inside Microsoft Excel. So let's get into it. As you can see, we almost have our data to be 100% clean. So the issue we have right now is on the dates and as well on this particular 2 columns right here. So those 2 columns should be combined together. So over here, the date is not on a proper format. We have to actually format it. So before we proceed, let us do Ctrl T. So with Ctrl T is going to actually help us to convert this into a table. So let's do that. So we have this. Remember, you can actually go over here and change the table to whatever design you feel like you want to use. So I would love to go with something as plain as this. Can you see this now? Okay, nice one. The next thing for me to actually highlight this particular column with my Ctrl 1, I can go over here to date and I'll convert it to date by just clicking on OK. So just open it up right here. So now you have it rightly formatted. So next again is for we to actually add a new column and combine these particular 2 columns together. So with my Control Shift and the plus on my keyboard, so you're going to have a new column inserted for you. So over here, we have to name this particular column. Let's just call it full name. So the full name might not be clear. Let us say agent. Full name. So over here, you can actually select your first name. So using the ampersand, double quotes with a space, and that ampersand here, you can actually get this. And once you hit your enter key, this has created here for you a particular column that combines the 2 names together. Okay, once we have gotten this done now, the next thing we have to do is to start looking at how to create analysis. Okay, right away we need to go over to here, and now insert we can go over here to create our first pivot table to get this done. So if I click on it, it's going to ask me if I want to take this into a new sheet or I want to actually use existing one. Let's go into a new sheet. So our pivot table has a habit of creating it right here for you. So you might want to move this. Just select the area. And once your cursor turns into this kind of cross, you can actually move it anywhere you want to make it start from. So this is where we have it. All right, if you look at what happens now, if you're just getting started, we have this particular part called filter. We have column, so we have value, and we have rows right there. We're going to use almost all of them today. So now, if I drag in my date into this particular value here, the values here, so what is going to happen is that it's going to default to count for me. So any column I drag into this particular space right here, right now, is going to default it to count. Why is it defaulting to count? That was because it is actually a text, not a number. So the only time we actually have here to give us something that has to do with summarization is when we drag in here a number. And if I just go ahead and just click, so at default, is going to come into a row because it's actually some kind of text. So what we're looking forward to doing right now is to actually create our KPIs for now. So to create our KPIs, we need to know what we want on our KPIs. So we have to visit back here again. So inside our KPIs, we want to have the total calls, successful calls, failed, abandoned. Those are the three things we want to have on our KPIs. And after that, we're going to have male and female calls. So let's do that right now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring call outcome right here, drag it into this particular row. So we have abandoned, we have fail, and we have success. So next again is for me to drag any column of my choice into this particular part right here, and it's going to give me a count. So if you look at it right now, for the call abandoned here, it's actually giving us 0. So why is it giving us this particular, blank or 0 right here? It was giving us this blank or 0 right here because if we look at what we dragged in here, is called product discussed. Let's go over to here and look for product discussed right here. We have some blanks here. So where we have blanks are where the, call outcome has some kind of abandoned. So for that, the column is not actually an ideal column to use to get it done. So we can actually go ahead and remove this from here. Then we can bring even the outcome into here as well. So the outcome now will count how many calls we abandoned, how many calls got failed, and how many success we actually have. So once we have this right now, we might want to go ahead and actually, format it using comma separator. So here we go. So the next thing you have to look at is this particular part right here. If you look at it, we have row label. So we want to make sure it shows something for us. Let's go over here and go to design. From design, we go over to, report layout, and we show in tabular form. So if we go back right now, it tells us call outcome. Do you see that now? So this is very, very important. We have created our first KPI. So how do we use it? So I'm going to name this particular part here as analysis. And over here, I'm going to add a new sheet. So on this particular sheet, it's going to be called my dashboard. So I have my dashboard here. Quickly, I have to format this particular area, very importantly. So go over to the top here and click on view. So from view, you can click on grid lines and you can turn off these particular headings. So once you have done that, you're going to have something like this. The next thing I have to do right now is to make sure I Ctrl A to select all the cells here and go over to the top here, go to home. From home, click on this particular part right there. I mean this fill color here. So once you actually go, click and select this particular one. Then, can you see what you have right now? This is what you need to do for the first time. Okay, once we have achieved that right away, we just go over to the top again. Now this time around, we go to insert, then we go to illustrations and we go to shapes. From shapes, we look for this particular, line here and we take it. So I can actually hold my shift key to draw a perfect line like this, right? So here we go. We have line here that will actually help us to get what we want. So let's go ahead and do Ctrl 1. So with my Ctrl 1 right now, I'm going to go ahead and increase this particular width. So increase the width to this. And once I have done that, I'm going to select this particular color. So look at the color I've selected. This is what it gives me right here. So let me just, I think I can close this now. So this is going to be this particular part of our dashboard. Can you see here? Title, drop down, and slicer, right? So right now we can give it our title by going over to insert, or by going over to insert here. What could that be? So we go over to text here and we take the text box, we drag it down. So over here, I'm going to type in sales and marketing call center, right? So once I've done that, I can just go ahead and some kind of, format this to what I really want. So I'm going to go over here and let us put this at 18. 18 will be fine for me. So we can just do this. If I do Ctrl+1, I can do the formatting from here, take off the line and the fill color. So you can even come here to actually change the text color. So let our text color be a little bit calm, like this. So for the time being, I'm going to drop it somewhere around here. So we have achieved this very one here right now. So I think I'm going to just go ahead and take this particular line up a little bit. Okay, nicely done. So we have actually gotten this done now. The next thing is for we to look at how we can actually bring in some cards here. Let's go all the way up, then insert and illustrations. Then we go over to shapes right here. Then we pick this particular rounded rectangle here. So you drag it down. So for it to be on the same page, we have to use the same height and weight. So it depends on the screen size that you have. So it might be different. So you can actually adjust it to actually match your screen size. So let's go over here. And over here, let's just do 1.03. So we do it by 1.98 here. So once we have done this now, we can just go ahead and some kind of reduce the rounded corner. And once that is done, Ctrl+1, over here, we can take off the outline. And over here, we can just go ahead and select this. So here we go. But if you look at it now, something weird happens. So this particular one is fitting into the background. It does not really pop. So I don't think this is going to be an ideal, right? So what can we do? Then let us go over to this particular part where it says effects. So under effects right now, we have to change the effect to quickly give us something that will make a lot of sense. So we go over to shadow here. So once we get to shadow, we come over to this particular part where it says presets. So now we select this particular one that has offset center. So if you look at it right now, it bounces the card off the background, but this is too much. So click back on it again. So let us use 94 over here. So 94% is good. So now this is better. So for the remaining one, leave it at default. I think we can do 100 here instead of 1 or 2. Just do 100. 100. We can do 4 over here. So let's do 4. So we do 3 for the distance. We can do 3 over here. Let's see what we have. Can you see it now? So what we have just done now is to actually float the shadow to the bottom right here. That is why we actually affected the angle here. The distance right here, the distance here is very important, right? So the angle here now, we might want to do 135 degree. So 135 here. So now we have shifted it away from here. Now is at this particular left hand corner on the bottom. This is where it affects. If you look at it now, it affects this particular part. It affects this particular part. But this one still has it, but not really much. So this is what we need to have for the first time. So once we've gotten this now, we need to actually duplicate this into 6. So I'm going to keep this one here like this. See that? So I'm going to Ctrl D to duplicate it. Keep this one here. Keep duplicating it until you have up to 6 of it. So once you have 6 now, the next thing you have to do is to go over here and make sure you keep it at where you want it to stop, right? Then hold your Control key to select all of this now, right here. So once you have done that, let us go to the top and go over to shape format, go to align, then you align top, then you now distribute horizontally. You now see what we have right now. So you can see we have equal spacing here, here, down to this particular last one right here. Okay, we have gotten this done now. So the next thing I want to have is to some kind of have this card to give us something much more different, a bit different. So what I'm going to do is to click on this one I'm going to do Ctrl+1 again. Then instead of me to select normal white from here by using this particular solid fill, I would rather go for gradient fill. So once I select gradient fill, I'm going to have something like this. So clicking over here now, I'm going to take off one stop from here. Then we can actually fill this particular part. So right away, we have to go ahead and get a preset from here, or direction rather. So the direction now is going to be, let's select anyone at random. I'm going to go with this one, right? So if I go with this one now, so here, I'm going to fill it with white, normal white right here. So I am going to fill this particular part here with white as well. That is nice. So over here, let us fill it with the background that we have, or something darker a little bit than that. So if I fill it with the background I have, it's going to look like this. So I'm going to fill it with this particular one here. Okay, so I can just shift this a little bit here. So it depends on what you want or the kind of effect you want. Something like this looks okay for me, right? So if you think you want to have, let's do something like this. Come over here and select this one. Okay, so having something like this might look okay, but I'm going to Ctrl+Z. I would rather have it on this one. Select the main background one. This one is what we use for our background with 5% darker. So it looks like this. So I can just go ahead and start moving this around. So I'm going to keep it at this particular position. Then it gives me this effect, right? So I'm going to select this now. Go over here. Double tap on this particular format painter and give it to this one. Finally, give it to this particular one here. So we have something like this. So our KPI card is ready. So it is time for we to fill in our KPI. So before we go further, let us look at the icons we're going to be using. And let me show you where I always get my icons from. So here on flaticon.com, make sure on this particular drop down, you are selecting icons. And over here, what you can do is to make sure you search for anything that is related to, calls. So I can actually do here calls now. So when I do calls, it's going to give me icons that are some kind of peculiar to calls. Then I can actually go ahead and actually use those icons, to get what I want. So as you can see over here, we have some bunch of those particular, icons for telephone, and cell phone. You can find it here, table phone, or whatever it is. Depends on what you want. And as well, call agents if you really want to actually get any of this right here. So I already have them downloaded. It's just for me to show you that this is the website you can actually use to get them. So let us go ahead and pick up those icons. So go over to illustrations, then go to pictures, this device. So over here I have icons. Those are the icons I have here. I can Ctrl+A to bring all of them in. Minimize it. Make it a bit smaller. So now I can separate them individually. So I have different icons I can actually use. Okay, so here we go. Now for our calls, total calls, we can actually go ahead and use something like this over here. So keep this over here. Now for call success, we want to go with something like this that has a check mark on it. Just keep it somewhere around here. You can make it smaller. Then for this one here, it's going to be for failed calls. So we're going to keep this and drag it a little bit. So you might not have this exactly if you want to download yours. So just make sure you look for something that is related. So for call abandoned, here I'm going to use this particular one here. So keep this around here. Now let us look for the gender. Look at this here for the gender. So I'm going to make it smaller a little bit and keep it somewhere around here. Then for male, For male, we have this. For female, we can choose to have either of this. So let's go with this particular one here. So here we have them. Okay. So what I don't like about them right now is that they are too dark. So I'm going to get these ones off. So on this one, I'm going to do Ctrl D to duplicate it and make it a bit smaller and have it as an icon over here. So if I click on this now and do Ctrl 1, it's going to give me access to this particular part here. So now I can go over to pictures, then go over to this particular picture color, then come down to here and select this particular one. Then do that to calm all of those particular ones down. So here we go. So we do it to this one and we select this one as well. Finally, we select for the female. So for the female, we'll do the same exact thing. So this one here, it will be very difficult for we to, except if we don't want it on the red color, so we can go ahead with something like this. So what about this? This looks nice, right? So we have all of them here. We do not have any text here. Now we can get this particular one duplicated, Ctrl D. And now we have to just do minimize it, and let's agree on what's. So let's go with something like this. So we keep this around here. So for the color, yeah, I think this color is okay. So as you can see, I have just kind of renamed them. So, but they're not properly aligned. So all you have to do is to make sure you hold your Control key to select them like this. So select this one and go over here in a shape format, align. I'm going to align this to the bottom, right? So it's going to give us something like this. This is nice, right? Okay, this one here, you can see how I actually, align this. So let's see what we can do. Now we have to bring in the figures, right? So I can just go ahead and duplicate this. Now it is time for we to open up our, formula bar. So we click on this one, put an equal sign here to bring in the total calls. We go over to the analysis and we go for the grand total. That is our total calls. Now we have this. So we have to look at how to make this to look beautiful. So what we can do right now is to format it, go over here and let us select home. So under home, we're going to put this at 20. This is cool. Yeah. So 20. Then from 20 now, we want to just go ahead and play around with the color. This is nice here. Okay. Let us look at this. This is not bad. This is cool. So I can just go ahead and just resize this. Now I can just go and get it for this one here. So this is for the successful calls. We just have to go ahead and match it up with this very one here. So we duplicate this. We match this with the failed calls. So here we go. And finally, we match this one with the abandoned calls. So we have something like this. What I'm going to do right now is to click over here and go over here, double tap this one. So this is what we have. The next thing we have to do is to make sure we just properly align them. I always love to do this. So we do shape format, align to the top. Right. So here we go. So now we have to do for gender. This time around, I'm going to abandon this one for now. Let's go into the main work. Like, seriously? Yes, into the main work. The main work right now is looking at how to create a chart that can actually be highlighted, right? So the very first thing I'm going to do is just to go over here and go to developer. If you don't have developer, right click and go to customize the ribbon. Then over here, this is a developer. If you don't have it, it's going to be unchecked. So go ahead and check it and click on OK. So you're going to have it right here. So under developer here, if you go over to this particular part, you have insert. Then click on insert, and let us insert this particular combo box right here. So my combo box should be somewhere around here. So now it's blank, which means it's empty. There is nothing here, right? So let's go over here. So over here right now, I have to do something. I'm going to some kind of right click here and go to pivot table option. Then over pivot table option, I think that should be data. Let's do this. I'm looking for something. So it's not under pivot table options. Go over to right click over here and go to show, I think our field settings here, this field settings. So under field setting, click over this particular layout. Before you do this, don't be under here to do it. So if you are here to do it and you could not find, you couldn't find it here, it's not available here. So what you have here is view field settings, and it's going to give you something like this. And this is what you have, show value as here. This will not give you. So make sure when you're doing this particular settings, you are under this particular, dimension here. Right click and go to our field settings. Then now you click on layout and make sure you see show item with no data. It's very important. Show item with no data. Then you click on OK. So if I right click again and go to, pivot table options here. So we might want to disallow the auto fit. This is not important. I'm just going to show you. So for empty cells, which means if it shows items with no data, what do you want to see right there? You want to see 0, right? It's important to customize it. Although you wouldn't see the effect right here until we have a scenario whereby something like that happens. So I just want to customize it on this one, because what I'm about to do right now is to copy here, Ctrl C, and come over here and paste this one in, right? So I might want to insert one more. Then over here, I'm going to separate it. So by picking any color here to separate this one from this one here. Okay, we have this. On this particular one, we do not need the grand total. So what do? Right click and you see remove grand total from here. So this this particular call outcome here, we don't want it. So we want the value. The next thing is to go for the full agent full name and drag it in here. So we have all the agent full name right in here. So this is okay to create our chart, but due to the kind of chart we want to create, this is not going to actually work. So which means we have to actually do something different from what we normally used to do. So, okay, so what I'm going to do right now is to actually create some kind of array. I call it an array, but you don't have to write any formula or any function for that. It's just for you to put an equal sign and highlight this particular environment here. Watch me do it. Equals, if I highlight here now and hit my enter key, this is actually an array, right? So why do we do this? So what's the difference? So if I just feel like deleting from here right now, I can't delete anything from here. The only place I can be to delete is actually over here, right? So I would just love to do something like this. This can be good for our chart, right? So the next thing now is that I want to highlight the top 5. So before I do that right now, I want to go here and right click from here and do sorting, largest to smallest. So this one will be sorted as well. So once sorted now, I can just say top 5 from here. I want to highlight the top 5. So over here, call it selected agent here. Selected agent. So we're adding 2 columns now. So this top 5 here, we don't have to use formula to determine this top 5. We just can go ahead and reference this and drag it down to give you 5 like this here. So select this environment, Ctrl 1 and number. Then do comma separator, so with no decimal numbers. So here we go, we have something like this, right? Okay, before we proceed, over here, I'm going to name it, let us name this one. So I'm going to name this particular part here, filter. So once I named it to filter, I can bold it. Then I'm going to have something here. So let's go over here now. This particular one now, we go over to format, control, So under format control now, so input range, what do we want to have inside here? We go over here. We want to have this here. You can select this one. You can select this one, any one of your choice. Let's go with this particular one here. Select it. So how many do you want to show per drop down? So I have 13 of them, I presume. I'm going to count how many agents I have. So if you want to show a drop down, you have it here. Otherwise, you can put 13 here to show everything. Then I'm going to go ahead and click OK, but not now. So over here, we have cell link. So if we go over to analysis again, we can link it over here. So let's go back. Now it's 0. Nothing is there, blank. So if I now click over here now, I can see all my agents. So if I select this one now, it should give me a particular number like 2. Yes, of course. So if I go back and choose something from here right now, we should see something different. Now we have 9 here. So we want to know who is this particular person. What this is giving us right now is just giving us some kind of position, right? It's giving us the position. So who is sitting in row number 9? That is what we want. So over here, I'm going to do Ctrl B to bold it. So to find who is sitting on the row 9 now, so here I'm going to do position agent. You got it right now. So, and total calls. So we have gotten the position by just, linking it right here. So we want to get who this particular person is. So to do that is something very simple. I mean, very, very easy. So we can use 2 different functions. That is index and match. With our equal sign, we use index here. The index is looking for the array. The array means what do you want to return? Where is it sitting? So it's sitting here, right? So because we're not copying down or wherever it is, we just have to keep going. We don't have to do cell referencing. So with my comment right now, it's asking me for the row number. So the row number right now can actually be match function. So the match function now, if I want to avoid this, I can just put 9 over here and go ahead and close this and hit my enter key. Now it gives me this particular person here, right? So let's count from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It got it right. It got it right. So what happens if I go over here now and choose to go for this one, then come back here, this still remains what it is. So instead of me to actually start doing it manually, I can rather go ahead and link this one to it. So can you see now? It's getting something from here. So which means we don't have to use match function. So if we want to go by match function, we can use match function, but in this case, match function is not important. Even if we have to go by match function, we would have to some kind of have here a supporting column. This works. So we are using index and as well the number this one return to return whatever is being selected from here, which means it works. All right, so what is the next thing? The next thing we have to do right now is to make sure we some kind of return the total calls of this particular agent right here. So what do you think is going to work? In this particular situation, the VLOOKUP cannot work because the VLOOKUP, I'm thinking, will the VLOOKUP works? Yes, of course, the VLOOKUP will do the work here and the XLOOKUP will do the work. Let me show you how to use the VLOOKUP to get it done and as well the XLOOKUP. For the VLOOKUP, we go to VLOOKUP. The VLOOKUP is looking for the lookup value, this here, comma. So the table array, this here. Now the column index number, which is 2. Then 0 for the exact match. Then I hit my enter key. I have this value right here that corresponds to this one. So if I have to use XLOOKUP right now, it's going to be XLOOKUP. So XLOOKUP is looking for the lookup value. Here we are looking for this particular one here. So the lookup array, where can we find it? So you come over here, search for this in the midst of these names here, comma. So what do you want me to return? Return something from here when you find match. So you can go ahead and close and hit our enter key. We have the same exact number. So it depends on which one you want to go for. VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, so whichever one you want to go for. So now we have this, we have to quickly do, which is not really important though. So number, then just do this. All right, so once we have gotten this done now, we actually talk about selected agent right here. We have to create a highlight. So you might not know the importance of what I'm about to do, but it's something that's going to work for you. So let's come over here now. And once we are here, I'm thinking, so we are going to do equals if this particular one here is equals to this very one here. So this time around, we don't want this one to move when we copy down, but we want this one to keep moving down. So for that, we don't have to lock N7. So for this one, F4 key will lock this down absolutely for us, right? So if that is true, what do you want? You want to get this one here. So because we don't want this one as well to move, we have to do absolute cell locking again, right? Otherwise, what do we want to see? We want to see nothing but blank. So we just do this and close and hit our enter key. So watch if I copy this down here. So we now have this here. Let's go ahead and change this randomly to any one of them. Here we go. So now this is where it is. The VLOOKUP and the XLOOKUP do return the same exact thing. Can you see now? So the position here is actually 8 and we have it return something like this. All right, so now it is time for we to start building our chart. So how do we go about it? So we can select this particular environment now, go over here and click on Insert. From Insert, we go over to this particular one and we choose to go with this. So we have something like this. So if you look at it right now, it starts the value from the lowest to the highest. So, which is not really cool. So what do we do and how do we correct this? So first of all, I'm going to take off this particular axis and the count of calls here, I'm going to take it off. So we want to turn off the grid lines. So we have something as clean as this. So to correct this now, double click or Control 1, then click on this particular axis here, the y-axis here. Let's go over here and go to axis option. Once you are there, we can click on category in reverse order. Can you see it now? So once we click on it, we have something like this. Beautiful. So we can now click on this particular one now. Let's go. Let us hide this one for the time being. So we can right click over here and click on select data. So when you do select data, you can move this one away and click on add. So once you click on add, we come over here, we can go ahead and select this particular top 5 here. Then over here, make sure you wipe off what is here. Then select this particular environment. So it actually helps you to highlight this particular part here. Go ahead and click on OK. Okay, now we have one more. Click on add again. Then this time around, selected agent. Then wipe off whatever is sitting right here. Then go ahead and select this particular environment again. So now you have under layout over here. So let's go ahead and click on OK. OK here. So once we have gotten this done now with my Control 1, I can come over here and do overlapping by doing 100%. Then we can just make sure we close the gap a little bit. Something like this would be cool, right? So we have the 3 different colors here. So now we have to agree on the color we want to use for our dashboard right now. So let us look at the 3 colors we're going to use for our dashboard. So the first color should actually be orange color. That is for highlight. So I can do here, highlight should be orange color. So normal color should be something like light gray. And for success, so we should do green. So second highlight. Oh, no, not second highlight. So selected agent should actually have dark green. So now I have specified the colors I want right now. Don't pick too much random color. All this color has relationship, and it's going to make our dashboard to look okay. Now let's do it from here. So we're going to cut Ctrl X to cut this away. Come over here. I'm going to paste this over here. So look at what happens when I actually select this. So this one gets highlighted. So over here now, we have to some kind of look at how we can some kind of change its color. So the color for the highlight we want to use right now should be an orange color. So we are going to use the color code to do that. So with my Ctrl 1, I come over here, I can come over here and do more colors. So with more colors, now over here, we have to change this particular path. So what I'm going to do right now is to do hash EA53532. So if you want to use the RGB, here we have 2348333 here. So now we have this orange color. If I click on OK right now, so there we go. So on this particular one, which is the highlight for whichever agent has been selected from here, so we can go over here and click over here now, and let's go for a particular green color. So if I select this, this can give me what I want, but I want to go ahead and do more colors and some kind of customize the way the green looks. So let's go click on OK. All right. Something like this looks cool. Now over here on this one, we want to make sure we actually select a particular color that will make sure we have something good. So once you highlighted this now, don't highlight from here. Just come over and highlight this particular one. Then to highlight for those ones that is behind this particular part here. Then let's go over to this particular part. And now we choose this. We can go with this particular one. So here we go. So if you want to turn on the data label, so don't click on this one to turn on the data label. Click on this one and come over here to select this one and data labels. Here we go. We have something like this. So what will happen if I randomly choose any one of my choice now? You can see we have a highlight. You might not know the effect of the highlight we have right now until we actually create it to an extent. You now see why we have the highlight. Okay, the next thing we need to do right now is for we to actually get any of this. So let me just take this particular card here and drop it down over here. So now we have to change the height and the width. So let's be on the same page. So over here, let's go through home here. So we can do 5.23 by 3.07. So here we go. We have something like this. So for now, I can go over here, go to view and turn off the formula bar. So here we go. We have something like this. So the rounded corner is too much. I can just go ahead and reduce it. The more you increase the size of your card, then the rounded corner will keep on, getting out of way. So just reduce it a little bit. So what I would do now for me to have this particular place to some kind of be on the same level, I'll hold my Control key, select this particular top one, go over to the top and click on shape format, align to the left hand corner. So now here we go. We have something like this. Okay. I might want to just take this down a little bit. Okay, we have something like this. So now we can just go ahead and remove the border and as well the outline from here. So here we go. I can bring this, it's going behind, right click and bring to front. So we keep this around here. So let's keep this around here. So if I now choose any of this one now, it highlights for me. So the highlight color is something I don't like here. I'm going to change it, but for now, let us leave it at this. So once we have done this right now, we want to see what percentage representation are the highlighted one right in here, and what is the percentage representation of the unselected or highlighted one here, right? So how do we do that? Quickly, let's go back. So over here now, I can actually say, I can title. I'll type in title here. So before we do that, let's come over here. Because we're going to be needing this one later after all, turn on the formula bar. Here we go. So once you have turned it on, so we can come over here now. I will just name this one to filter. So just remember this, filter. Whenever we call filter, it will actually take the effect of this particular one, right? So this one I'm going to name it selected underscore agent. So now this is very important. So whenever we are out of here, specifically if we have scrolled far away from here to the right hand corner, we don't have to go back there to select it. We can just go ahead and some kind of, call that particular name we actually added. So we have title here. So now we need to do some kind of chart here for top 5 and others, right? So chart for top 5 and others. So what I'm going to do right now is just for me to say, okay, I want to see successful calls. Again, I want to see others, right? So if I do this now, what I'll do to get the successful calls now is just for me to say here. So here is my top 5 calls. Here is the others. So what I'll do now is just to say here, sum of this particular value here. You can decide to select it up to this level, no problem. Then you close and divide it here by the sum of the total of this. So once you have done that, you hit the enter key, Ctrl 1, then it gives you access to go over for percentage. Then we can do here, click on OK. So over here now, for we to get orders, so what we can do is just to do here equals 100% minus this. So we have for orders. So if you add this particular two together, we should have 100%. If it doesn't give 100%, that means something is wrong, right? So this is what you need to do. So right now, we actually need to create a chart that will help us to actually visualize this. So very, very important. So let us look at the kind of chart that will be good to actually get this visualized. So once you have it selected, go over to the top ribbon, then click on insert here. Then from insert, let's go over to this chart. So I would love to just use this recommended chart here. Then I can see it from here nicely. So go to all chart. So when you get to all chart now, so you click on this particular one, then now you are going to use this very chart right here to get this done. So this chart, oh sorry, I'm still double click on it. Let's go back. Now click over insert here, click on recommended chart and go to all charts. So click on this one. If you look at this now, this gives us this. So this can actually do it, but it's not going to give us what we want. So instead, let us go ahead and do something like this that takes it from 0 to 100. Otherwise, you would have to customize this particular one to fit what you want. So we already have this one that gives us something like this. So if I click on OK right now, which one did I do? Why am I doing this? Let's do it again. We want to go ahead and insert. We'll go to others. We click on this. So we click on this one here. Now we select this and click over here. Now we have this. So if you look at it right now, it's from 0 to 100. This is what it gives you. So you don't have to tamper with this one. Just go ahead and actually remove this one from here. And now, so for this particular one now, we don't need it. We can just go ahead and turn off this particular axis off. So the chart title, we don't need it. So this particular grid lines and the legend, we don't need it. We're going to create our own legend ourselves. So now we have this. We can Ctrl X to cut it away from here. So once we get here now, I paste this here. I can go over to, let's click on this particular part. Let's go over to here. You can make it fill the whole space. Then over here, we turn off, select it again, then no fill, no line. So we can just make it smaller. So before we finally make it smaller, this particular part represents the top 5. So we have to give it the same color we have right here. So we come over here, we select this particular color for the top 5. So this one represents orders, which is this particular one here. We have to give it the same color, which is this very one here for orders, right? So we have something like this. So once we have this now, we can just go ahead and some kind of make it smaller. Not too, yeah. Okay, we click over here, we do data labels. So now we have to match it with the right color. So let's go over to text options. So we put it on white. Then leave this one on black. So here we go. We have this, we can bring it down right here. Can you see it now? Bring it down here. And we do this. So the next thing we have to put right here right now is the legend, right? So let us create our own legend, as I've said earlier. Insert, you go to text and text box here. So over here, I'm going to type in calls by top 5 agents. So once we have this now, we can say no fill. Control 1 again. So no fill, no outline. Then for the text, we want to select this same thing. So let's go over to the top ribbon, insert illustrations, shapes, we pick up circle. Hold the shift key to draw a perfect circle like this. Then we want to go ahead and make the fill to give us the same color here. So for the outline, we don't want it. So we're going to take this one and keep it somewhere around around here and duplicate it and keep this particular one somewhere around here. Then for this one here, we just have to duplicate it again and keep this particular one at this particular part here. So for this particular one here, we're going to do orders. So orders right here. So once we have done that now, we have to change the color. So let's go over here and change its color to this particular one. So here we can just reduce it and bring it up to this level here. So once we have done that, select this particular one. So let's just go ahead and match it with the color. So we match it with this particular color here. Can you see it now? So we have created our legend. If I go ahead and turn off this particular formula bar here now, so you see, here we go. So you can see the top 5 contributed, 69% to the total calls. So while others, it's just, I think like 8 of them is actually giving us just 8 to 9 of them giving us just 30%, 31%. So, which is nice insight. All right, everyone. So we have gotten this done now. The next thing we have to do is to make sure we create a highlight. This highlight here has to do its work. So the work of this highlight is to show us the success rate of the agent. So how do we do this? I think it's something very simple. Let's go ahead and do it. So if we go through this particular part now, you can see over here we have achieved this particular part. So we have achieved this particular part to an extent, not everything. So now we have achieved this to 100% right away. So it is time for we to actually start to create this particular part and the ones beneath it. So let's do it. So what we don't have here now is actually title, which is really not something good. So I can just go ahead and duplicate this particular one here, Ctrl D to duplicate it. So once done, I'm going to keep this over here and stretch it. And now we have to type in total calls by agents. So on this one, I'm going to make it a bit bolder. Let's do something like this. So I might want to centralize it in the middle. So here we go. We have something like this. Okay. So next again is for me to get this one duplicated for what I'm about to do right now. So just keep it around here for the time being. So now we have to go all the way to analysis. Okay. So we want to use the previous pivot table, which is this particular one. We can copy this one from here. So if I go over here now, I can paste it somewhere around here. Yeah, on this line, Ctrl V to paste it. Over here, I can create a margin between them like this. So now this one starts from here. So what are we about to do? We're about to actually see if we select this, any of this here, like Ray here. So Ray should give us the percentage of the success calls he has against others, right? So how do we do that? Let's go back here now. So now that we are here, the next thing we have to do to achieve this is to actually bring in all the calls we have. So which means we are going to go over, right click, show field list. Now we have the field list showing up here. So let me clear this up. Right click again, show field list. So we have this showing up. So we want to get call outcome. That is call outcome, and drag it on the column area. I told you we're going to use all those boxes, right? So I drag it over here. So now we have this. So this particular grand total is not needed. Right click and go ahead and remove grand total. So we need those particular three right here: abandon, fail, and success. You get this now. So there is something you have to understand now. So if you look at it, this particular abandoned call and the failed calls, they are calls that did not, become successful. So abandon is actually something different. When we say call is being abandoned, which means it might not be picked at all, or before the agent could pick it, the caller had dropped. Maybe it could be as a technical issue whatsoever. So while this particular fail, the failure here means the call was picked, but they could not reach maybe an agreement level, or if they are trying to make a purchase, so they could not actually make the purchase due to one or two reasons. So the call fails, there was no success based on what the client wants. Or maybe if the client is trying to get something fixed, they could not fix it and all of that, so it will be recorded as fail. And the successful one is where we were able, or the agent were able to actually meet up the expectation of the client. You get it right now. So what am I saying here? In essence, we're going to combine these particular two together to be the calls that are not successful. So we're going to add more columns here. So here's going to be percentage of successful calls, and here is going to be orders, right? So how do we calculate this now? It's something very simple. I'm going to take this particular number here and divide it by the sum of these particular two numbers right here. Then I close this and hit my enter key. I have something like this. I can just go ahead and drag this down. If I double click here right now, you can see, here we go. So let me just highlight this environment here and do Ctrl 1. Let's do percentage, and here we go. So no decimal places. Okay, now if I want to get orders right now, I have done this before. We do equals 100% subtracted from this here. And if I hit my enter key, it gives me 75. I can just go ahead and just copy this down. So here we go. Oh, it seems we have issues. Let's see what the issue is. Trying to look at something here. So what seems to be the issue here? So I think I can redo this again. Let us remove this away from here. We're going to have 100% here, no problem. So we just have to do this particular number here. We divide it by the sum. So the sum should actually not be the sum of this particular two alone, but the sum of everything, right? So we go ahead and hit enter. So if I just go ahead and copy this down now, so it should give me something like this, not the other way around. Can you see now? We now have the correct value right here. This is what we want exactly. So once we have achieved this right now, the next thing we have to do is to look at how we can actually get for a particular call. So over here, if I come over here now and do equals, so and do filter, so it's for. Do you understand this right now? If I do selected agent here, now is this. So which means I'm selecting something from here. The position is 4. That is why we have this particular 4 right here. Now we have this. So what we need to do right now is to actually, get the call success of this particular person and as well the order. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to type in here. So successful call, then orders, right? So to get that now, you know what we can use? Let us use XLOOKUP. We have tried VLOOKUP and it works. So XLOOKUP looking for value here. So now we need to look for the array. The array should be, where can we find this, right? So it's going to be from this environment. So what are we looking for? What do we want to return? Want to return something from here. So go ahead and close and hit the enter key. Then you try as much as you could to do Ctrl+1. Then you do percentage, no decimal number. So we have 20%, right? So 20% now, we need to actually get for orders as well. So to get for orders, you can actually copy this one, copy all of this and actually push it into here. Double click and move this one to here and hit your enter key. Then you have to just quickly do the formatting of this one. So, all right, so we have something like this. If you plug this one to this one now, it should give you 100%. So, which is exactly what I have right here. You can say it, right? So the next thing we have to do right now is to look at what kind of chat can actually communicate this for us, very importantly. So over here, I'm going to do highlight, go over to the top ribbon, insert, and I'll rather use this particular do not chat here. So my success is this particular 20%, while this particular part here is actually the orders, right? So Ctrl X to cut it away. Over here, we can paste this. Now make it a little bit smaller. So we have to go ahead and take off all the axes we don't want. Title, legend, all turned off. So if I double click now, I have this up. So quickly I have to remove the fill and as well go ahead and remove the line. Click on this one to remove the line. No line as well. So once we have done this now, we want to actually use green to some kind of show this. So we click over here, we click, and if I choose this now, that was because I did not properly select it. So you have to select this one, double click until you see this particular color here appeared here before you can be able to change it. Let's go for this. This is what we have. So I want something more brighter than this. You can go over here So more colors. And now we have to go through here and bring it down a little bit. Let's click on OK. So we have something like this, but this kind of green is not something I really want. Let me select a different kind of green. So I think I can remember I have a particular green in mind. Let us use this hash code. So over here, click, and we have to some kind of customize here. So EA 5321 5321. So just go ahead and click on OK. What did I do? Sorry. EA5 3 2 1. No, I think I got it wrongly. I can't remember this code again. Okay, I think it's gonna be something different. Let's do 43 AF, then 74. So exactly, this is what I want. So here we go. We have something like this. So on this particular one now, this is for others. So for what is not selected, I want to match it with this particular one. So let's select this area and we go with this. So now we have to be on the same page. So let us look at how the height of this one and the weight as well. So let's go over here. This, so 1.74. We do that by 3.45. Now, here we go. So I'm going to click on this particular one, go over here. You can play around with the whole. So I'm going to keep this one somewhere around here. So look at what happens when I select this. It's changing. Can you see? Almost 90-something%. All right. Once we have achieved this, the next thing we have to do right now is to some kind of, let's do it. Then we'll put the title on it. So the title has to be dynamic title. So let's go over here and create a dynamic title. So the dynamic title now should be here. I think over here. What could it be? Okay, let's put title here. So the title now should be equals this space and close, then can do call outcome. If I hit my enter key now, I have Samuel Smith call outcome. So go back here now. Let's get this one. Then we keep it somewhere around here. We go over to view and we select this one. Then over here, we have to bring in the title. So quickly click on this particular one here. Click over here, go over here and apply it. So can you see it now? So what I don't have now is that this particular chart, this particular box here is not aligned properly with this one. I'm going to hold my control key to select both of them. Go to the top, shape format, align, you align to the bottom. Oh no. Now let's do align to the top. Okay, now we should have it equally aligned properly. So now I'm going to bring this one down. Then always select this and go over here to do proper alignment. If you want to have a good job, align to the bottom. So nicely done. So next again is for me to just duplicate this one, make it a bit smaller, and do another duplicate again. So on this one here, I'm going to pick the percentage that is equal to the success, which is this 91% here. So let's go ahead and take it to 1 decimal number. So here we go. So once we have done this now, we just have to quickly go over here. So we have to make this one bigger because it's something that should be on focus. So let's go ahead and do 40. So 40 looks good. We select the same exact color, this very color here for it. Can you see it now? So I'm going to keep it somewhere around here. So over here now, so I'm going to type in call were successful. So keep this beneath this very one here. So 90.6% calls were successful. Should we be calls? Yeah. So whenever we make any changes here, 20%, 89%. So one beautiful thing is this, it highlights who the agent is. And over here, it gives you the percentage of its call success. So let me show you something over here. Look at this particular one here now. So if I go ahead and just select this, so we have the call success to be at 20%. And look at how many calls he received, 40,000 calls. So when we try to compare it to this particular person that has just 10,000 now, let's just look at what we're going to find. So now just 10,000 calls, he has almost 90%, call success. So you can see it's not all about how many calls is being received by an agent, it's how many calls we converted and stuff like that, right? So this is going to give us a lot of insights. You can see over here, just 4,000 calls, 89%, whereby those ones with more calls, they're not giving us, good turnover. I don't know how to call it. All right, so this is what we need to do right in here. The next thing we need to do right now is to actually look at the average rating and as well the average call duration for every single agent. So right now, this is going to be some kind of dynamic. Whenever we select this now, I want to see the average rating for whoever is being selected. You get it right now?